Thank you very much. Thank you very much for welcoming me here. I'm very happy to be with you. So, ladies and gentlemen, of course, this is a great honor for me to be with you today. We all know in this room that mobility has been the bedrock of our civilization. Talk, exchange, connection, and meet is what makes us human. Today, I would like to address a crucial significance, which is regional mobility, and explore why it matters now more than ever. What is regional mobility? Regional mobility is an ecosystem connecting two populations within a 1,000 kilometers area. The regional mobility segment stands between the urban mobility, which is mainly made by buses, by cars, and long distances mobility served in majority by air. Today, regional mobility represents 35% of all trips worldwide, shared between all means of transportation. So 1/4 of the worldwide transportation needs have a range less than 1,000 kilometers. Because we are here at the Paris Air Show today, the next question will then be how aviation can contribute to regional mobility. Very interesting studies consistently show that regional aviation plays a key role in economic growth of the territories. We experience this every day with our customers. In developing countries, for instance, a 10% increase of flights triggers 3 to 6% of GDP growth. This is, of course, very huge. In developed countries, the same 10% in the air traffic drives a GDP growth of about 1.2%. Again, very significant. Beyond the key role in economic growth, regional mobility has other noticeable benefits. It distributes wealth from large cities to more remote places. It gives more people access to transport infrastructure to connect to long-distance flights. This is what we do through the hubs. It supports the sovereignty of governments in more remote and less connected areas. Air transport represents only 2% of the regional mobility today in the world, with potential for much more. Recent analysis show that in the next 20 years, traffic is planned to grow by 5% per year, reflecting willingness of individuals to continue to fly. I mean, we all went through the COVID period when we were asking ourselves whether flight will continue. And when we see what happens now when you go to an airport, you will see that it's full empty with people who want to continue to fly. ATR is the world leader in regional aircraft. We have delivered about 1,700 aircraft today, and we have an order book of more. We have ordered of more than 1,900 aircraft. ATR aircraft today are operated by more than 200 customers in 100 countries. And this is making us by far one of the leaders in the regional aviation today. ATR has always been a regional aviation specialist. As we see it, regional mobility tends to play a prominent role in two different areas. The first, on its developing economies, where infrastructure are less developed and too costly to be developed. India, for example, is a main target for us and is a good example of how regional aviation can contribute to the development of the regions. If you look at people traveling in India, it's 3% of the population traveling by plane in India today. Well, in general, it's more than 7%. So you see there is a huge range of improvement that can be achieved. It's the third largest air transport market by departing mass passengers in the world. From 2011 to 2019, India's annual traffic grew by 10% a year, according to the IATA database. Domestic seat capacity doubled over the last decade. This is a fact. All these figures are, of course, very impressive, and we want to continue to contribute to the continuous growth of this traffic. India has a very robust plan to further develop regional air connection in 200 airports by 2030. From 119 today, with a further potential, and I know it because I was with the Ministry of Trade quite recently, they have a potential of 500 airports to be reached. And of course, those airports are sometimes in remote places, and they are sometimes with not very long runways where our aircraft is very well fitted. There is one more key element of this development in India, and I think it needs to be remain in our hands. What is important is not only the availability of flights, it's also the affordability of flights and affordability of tickets, which remains a very key thing for India. Regional aviation is not a matter of connectivity, this is a matter of inclusivity as well. Being everywhere and affordable is what we would like to sell in India. It's very important. There is one reason why, for a manufacturer like ATR, the economic performance of the aircraft is therefore a key priority. So when we look at next generation aircraft, when we look at developing further, at innovating for ATR, we should always keep in mind that we need to keep those innovations offering still some seats at a reasonable pricing. So we need to maintain the cost of operations of our aircraft as low as possible. The second area where regional mobility has a key role to play is with challenging geographies, such as mountainous or in the islands, where, of course, building infrastructure is economically not viable. To give you an example, when you travel to French Polynesia, I'm sure that some of you have been there. You have the Marquise, which is an island where a number of people still live. And when you want to go from the Marquise to the main island to go to the hospital, if you would have to take a boat, it will take you 4 days. It will take you 4 days. So it's better probably to take an aircraft, which with the ATR, it takes 4 hours to go to the hospital. So you can understand that in those parts of the world, regional aviation is a lifeline. People need to take the aircraft to go to the hospital, to go to school. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult for them. More than a third of ATR's operation take place in the isolated or Iceland region where neither rail or highways exist. I can give you a long list. I mentioned French Polynesia, but of course you have the same story in Japan, in Nepal, where ATR creates connections for very remote communities and to keep them the link with the main centers. In developed economies like the US and Europe, the connections are mainly done via hubs, and you are well aware of this. This makes direct connection between secondary cities more challenging and the mobility system less performant. It forces, of course, passengers to go through hubs, increasing their time of travel, and I'm sure that you experience that quite often yourself, and increasing, of course, the carbon footprint of your travel. When you travel, I used to travel, I'm going quite often, for example, from Toulouse to Rome, and I have to usually go through Paris. When we are in Toulouse, you have to go to Rome, and you go through Paris. For me, it sounds like a little bit strange. And we should welcome, at the era of carbon reduction, we should welcome direct trips, which is what we are trying to do with ATR. Airport is another interesting topic. 96% of the airports 96% of the traffic is concentrated through 4% of the airports. This is quite amazing to see that. Many countries have a very dense network of secondary airports which are typically underutilized. So you have airports with very limited traffic. And I was having that conversation a few days ago with some airport heads who are saying that they would like to increase in France, in South France, for example, they would like to see a frequency increase of the flight. If you are, for example, in Perpignan and you want to reach a center, you have maybe 1 or 2 flights a day with low-cost companies. And together with ATR, we would like to change that. There is a very inefficient, and you have seen it from what I was seeing, system showing the interest of rechanneling the flows of passengers through point-of-point. I have spent many hours and days speaking about regional airlines, representatives of regions and countries since I joined ATR 3 years ago. And from these conversations and the data that I just shared with you, I strongly believe that boosting regional air mobility would connect community and businesses faster and more effectively while making better use of existing airports and saving us expensive surface-based infrastructure investments. I would like to now elaborate on 2 major challenges that regional mobility faces today. It's about multimodality and sustainability. The first one is the challenge of multimodality. Multimodality is the combination of different transport modes under one system to provide passengers with a fully integrated journey. This would be what we would like to have as a passenger, I guess, to be able to jump from an aircraft, be in a train, and then finish your journey without any disruption in a tube or in a bus to go to the place where you want to go. This is a challenge, unfortunately, that none has succeeded in cracking. Why? That is a very general and connected world. There are 3 challenges from our perspective to tackle. The first one is aligning ticketing, scheduling, and information system across transportation modes, which is very complex, and we know it. The second, which is very important for travelers, is ensuring an end-to-end passenger experience, including a smooth access to the first and the last mile, which is difficult to conceive. This is what I was describing by going from one place to the other and making sure that your journey looks like it's one single journey. The last challenge is addressing the operational complexity of balancing frequencies, capacities, and transfers, which requires some significant changes in our current system. But when executed well, multimodal systems increase convenience, access, and efficiency of the regional mobility. How can ATR contribute to multimodality? ATR advocates a pragmatic, inclusive, and complementary vision of regional mobility. Regional aviation, and I'm very convinced about that, is not in competition with trains or with cars, or it's not in competition. It's rather part of an overall system, because usually you can use regional aviation where, again, infrastructure is not so well developed. In Europe, high-speed train lines serve routes where annual passenger flow are above 1 million passengers per year. When we look at ATR, we serve routes where the busiest routes, they are above 300,000 passengers a year. So you can imagine that we are not in competition, because these numbers show you that we are not in competition. In less populated places, this is a fact that infrastructure costs to put together an infrastructure like a train or something is sometimes very expensive. So we see air mobility as a place in this very expensive, heavy infrastructure. Conversely, ATR's regional aircraft are flexible, fast, and low-footprint solutions connecting this region. ATR therefore designed its aircraft as public transport facility, just like regional trains or intercity buses, with one particularity, which is a great flexibility. We can be flexible. We can have several flights in the day to arrange the travel of the people. Regarding multimodality, ATR advocates for several concrete measures to make regional journey more efficient and inclusive. The first one is simplifying procedures for some regional aircraft flights. For aircraft flying 45 to 80 passengers, ATR would suggest to adapt security rules to reduce airport constraints. The objective is to make the experience as seamless as it is than to take a train or a bus. And I think we are still very far from this, unfortunately. The second measure is promoting connections with other modes of transport. This involves better coordination of schedules with trains, with buses, and local public transport. The first and last mile service to ensure a complete journey without relying on private car. The third one is some financing support of the regional ecosystem. ATR proposed a new financing approach that considers regional aviation as a public transport infrastructure. This would attract public or semi-public funding similar to those used for train or roads, and encourage investment in smaller airports, fuel-efficient aircraft, and integrated transport services. The last measure is creating a collaborative approach. ATR proposes the establishment of a shared data and discussion space, bringing together local authorities, transport operators, and industry stakeholders. This platform would aim to better understand the mobility need of local areas, identify areas in need of access, and build effective and sustainable transmodal partnership. I would like to end as you have seen, we have a lot of ideas on how to improve regional mobility as ATR. We would like to, of course, we have been discussing with many customers, with many institutions this week, and I think they are all convinced that this is the right way to do. As a CEO of ATR, I stand before you with a profound sense and responsibility and enthusiasm of how regional mobility could develop, pending the arrival of next generation aircraft and advanced low-carbon technology, turboprops and ATR in particular, strike for the best balance between fuel efficiency, infrastructure optimization, and inclusivity. Yet, while ATR are very competitive solutions today, we recognize that the future of regional aviation depends on our capacity to scale up and embrace new technologies to keep serving your customers on an increasingly sustainable path. Thank you very much for your attention, and thank you for your time. And let's build together this regional mobility system, including in France, where I think it's not enough developed. Thank you.